Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder. This is the key of the vehicle, the Toyota logo there. This is to unlock the car, this is to lock the car. Exact identical key as a Maruti Suzuki car. Now of course this is actually the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara with the Toyota logo and a Toyota engine because everything feels Maruti on the inside of course. Let's open the engine bay, which means there it is. Oh my god, this is quite heavy. There's insulation there. Engine is actually on, but it is on battery power right now. It's super silent, so refined. There is where the washer fluid goes. There's no engine cover, so it's kind of weird cost cutting here, but it's very heavy and the design is quite nice. In fact, the ground clearance is quite a lot because it is 210 mm, which is sort of segment best. Now you can see on the grille, this is sort of carbon fiber finish, big Toyota logo, lot of chrome. So chrome is almost everywhere. So this is actually the DRL, which also converts into the indicator. These are the main lights. Right now it's on low beam and they have given it this grey finishing on the lower half. This is the front camera. It obviously gets a 360-degree camera. You can see the DRL here. Yeah, that is the DRL. It doesn't seem very bright right now, but I don't know. Anyways, coming to the side, it is slightly more than 4.3 meters in length. Wheelbase is 2.6 meters, which is slightly less than the Creta and the Seltos. Its main rivals. Okay, you get squared wheel arches, which is so Jeep, and the tire size happens to be 215/60/17s. The alloy wheel design is actually nice. There is a camera here, along with an indicator on the mirror, which is finished in gloss black. It says hybrid right there. Request sensor is there on both the sides and you get this roof rail. I think this would be functional. Again, it's a dual tone paint to give you that floating roof appearance, but Toyota does not call it a separate variant like Maruti Suzuki does. That's the reason Maruti has 4 more variants than the Hyryder. Coming to the rear, again the C-shaped lights look quite nice. Look at them. Very nice. LEDs of course, but this is not LED. This is all halogen. So for the indicator as well as for the reverse light, it's halogen. Hybrid. We written there, you get rear parking sensors, sort of a diffuser treatment, which again is finished in grey. The exhaust is plates there, yeah, Faisal Khan's fingers of truth. Upset that you, oh my god, I touched it, it turned on, weirdo. There is of course the towing hook and the spare wheel is full size, but it is not an alloy, so cost cutting is there. That is the Suzuki C platform, which underpins the Brezza and the Hyryder and the Grand Vitara. There is the camera, Toyota logo, rear wiper, and you get a spoiler with a high mounted stop lamp. That is a shark fin antenna. Urban Cruiser Hyryder is written there. I don't know why they have to call it Urban Cruiser. Just call it Hyryder, na? Faltu ka they keep adding names. Anyways, let's open the boot. Oh, there's chrome treatment here on the boot. Now this is the problem. This is the strong hybrid, which means that the boot is 100 liters smaller than the mild hybrid because the battery is placed right there. So 255 liters boot. Okay, you can put this up and then you can actually remove this and put some stuff there on both the sides actually, yeah. And then you obviously get a 12 volt charging socket, you get a light placement here, but the boot is just inadequate. Okay, there's a hook as well. It's a very small boot for a car of this size, so that's disappointing. And that's one of the major reasons why you would not buy this car. This is where fuel actually goes in, and thankfully this is attached so it doesn't fall off. So you can slot it right here. Now let's get to the rear. First and foremost, doors open wide enough and door pockets are big enough. Again, leather treatment, dual stitching, which is quite nice. Nice play of colors here. Okay, this is decent sized. This is reclined right now, and you can obviously put this down to increase the boot carrying capacity in 60/40 format. Let me put it up. Okay, now it's become upright. I can push it back inside. There is good amount of foot room, knee room, leg room is good. Under thigh support is okay. It's not that great. Magazine holders here, not scooped out. AC vents here, and 2 USB charging sockets. One is regular USB, one is USB-C. There's some storage space here. AC vents seem inadequate only here in the center. This is obviously height adjustable. 6 airbags. There's a light placement here. There's a handle to hold on to, and there's a hook on the other side. Everyone gets a head, thankfully, because all the passengers get a proper headrest and proper seat belts as well. Yes, middle passenger also gets a proper seat belt, which is nice. This will not open because I've actually locked it. So I don't know why they have this locking mechanism. I feel under heavy braking, they feel that it might just pop out. So that's the reason why they have. Okay, now I've removed it. And then let's just open this. Twin cup holders here. So leather finishing, seats are actually nice and comfortable. I really like it. But headroom is a problem for someone as tall as me because the battery is right below me. So that's the reason it's a little high, the seat, and headroom goes for a toss. Dashboard is exactly very much like the Maruti Brezza. Yeah, a lot of parts coming from there, so which is a little bit of a problem because it doesn't feel like a Toyota, it feels more like a Maruti Suzuki car. And because the battery is placed below, there is a vent here to cool the battery. Let's shut this. Overall quality is Maruti level only, nothing great. And then the request sensor here, so on both the sides, of course. That floating roof thing looks quite nice. Car looks very attractive, especially in this blue color. I really very much like it. Now here lies the problem, everything is so similar to a Maruti car. In fact, the dashboard will definitely remind you of the Brezza, which is a bit of a bummer because things are very much similar. A little bit design changes here and there. In fact, the Brezza gets a flat bottom steering wheel, this thing does not. Now storage space is decent at the front. Again, all the buttons and switchgear come from older Maruti cars, and this is like really bad, like feels very cheap. In fact, you can see this is also not written properly. Auto one touch up down only for the driver side, and only the driver side has this illumination. This is to lock the car, this is to unlock the car, power window controls. Outside you have the mirror adjustment. They have put some leather here with double stitching, which is a premium thing, which kind of is inspired from the Fortuner. And the seats are also very nice, well bolstered and extremely comfortable too. Okay, there's some storage space below this. Can I put stuff? You got a proper dead pedal right there. These are buttons for opening the fuel lid as well as the hood. Controls for the heads up display, headlight leveler. This is the engine start button. I like this. This is very nicely done, very premium, and this chrome treatment is there as well. Now let's get inside, and okay, you get a heads up display here on the top, which is nice again because a lot of these features are there in the Brezza. They have been put in this car, so almost everything is the same as the Brezza, which is honestly quite disappointing. Yeah, no unique bits, but that is what gets them the economies of scale and also gets them price the car aggressively, I am told. The glove box is decent size and lot of hard plastics. Okay, some soft touch materials here, but most part hard plastics are there. Two cup holders here. This actually slides, little bit storage space inside. This is to cool the driver's seat, so ventilation is there for both the driver as well as the co-passenger. EV mode, drive mode selector. This is the gear lever. Let's get it into drive because this is the wireless charging pad. There's a 12 volt charging socket. There's a USB slot here, no USB-C at the front. Steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as range. I mean, both height and reach adjustable steering wheel, which is quite nice. The horn, very meek, not that interesting. Okay, let's just remove this. Yeah, that's out. We'll come to the screen in a bit. This is auto dimming, of course. There's a sunglass holder here, light placement here on the top. This is quite premium with a mirror and a light as well. Okay. Meanwhile, this sunroof is actually very big. But the problem is, this is like thermocol, very cheap materials used in this car, and this helps in no way in cutting down heat from outside. Look at this, is like kapda, yeah. This is like worse than my handkerchief, and I don't even have a handkerchief, so that's the funny part. Come on, the level of cost cutting in this car is so freaking evident. They put all the money on the strong hybrid engine and they forgot about doing any other thing. Now, let me open this, okay? Now, the interesting bit is this is very similar to the Global S-Cross because this one, the behind one also moves and it opens massively. That's like, oh my goodness, this is one of the biggest opening sunroofs in the world. Absolutely crazy because this thing also goes inside, and this is very much similar to the Global S-Cross, yeah, the latest S-Cross, which has a panoramic roof, and this is obviously based on the Suzuki C platform. You can see the dashboard will definitely remind you of the Brezza, and that's the reason this Toyota logo feels out of place, because you're like, what, I'm in a Maruti Suzuki car. Anyways, let me turn off the light, that becomes brighter. So this screen is actually decent enough, and you get a few things here and there. You can just move stuff like that. It's quite easy to move, and then you can move the energy flow. So let's just touch the energy flow. Here you get energy flow. Here you get a lot of information. It's got ambient lighting, which actually comes out from here. Can you see that? Yeah, ambient lighting only comes from there. So there's like very chintum into ambient lighting. And then you can get into the various alerts like door open, parking brake, seat belt, key fob, IC road warning, tire pressure monitor, low fuel, ABS fault. All these things are actually there. ESP fault. Okay, that is ESP, EPS. Don't get confused. And various things you can browse through, but there is not much information you want to go through. Then obviously it's got a 360-degree parking camera. Here I press the button and there it does the full spin. Now the thing is, this car looks like the Grand Vitara here to me. It doesn't have a sunroof and the color is white. The there's no attention to detail. There's absolutely no attention to detail. Everything seems super duper random. So let's get into the other view. Here again it does the spin. Now again this is very similar to the Brezza. So when I'm driving this car, I just feel like I'm driving a Brezza with the Toyota logo. That's the reason they've named it Toyota Urban Cruiser, so you don't miss that. And then Hyryder because Grand Vitara sibling. So that's that. Let's just get out of it. Okay, this is a very nice system. Obviously it's got connected car tech and all that stuff is there. Let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is actually decent. This is the hazard light button. Again, similar to the Brezza. Brezza has like a rectangle one. This has a circular one. So they've made changes like that. Air conditioning is a chiller here. And climate control, air conditioning, traction control button right there. And that's about it. Not much to talk about. Steering wheel again is similar. These are the controls to operate that screen. And these are for volume control. These are for phone controls. And these are actually for the cruise control system. The horn is not that nice. You get automatic headlights. You do not get automatic wipers, but let's use the wipers right away. Good amount of spray on offer. Windscreen gets clean in no time at all. So yeah, wipers are also good here. Meanwhile, this is actually a 7-inch screen. It's very easy to browse because you can get into various information like that. Yeah, so it's sort of an information overload, and then you can go up, down in this menu and see a lot of things. But my personal favorite is this. It shows me how the hybrid system is actually working. It's kind of nice, and then there's some sound which is coming from the hybrid system. So yeah, that's that. A lot of stuff. Okay, lot of information, guide me home, headlamps, blah blah blah. Okay, let me just browse through this. Fuel efficiency is saying 18.9 kilometers per liter. So yes, the strong hybrid actually is very efficient. And then there's this motion sensor graphic as well. So that's kind of cool. In fact, you get a power meter here, you get a engine temperature and a fuel meter there. Telltale lights are placed almost everywhere, which brings me to the fact, let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. Okay, and it has got multiple modes here, so you can see different things if you want. You know what? I'm not kidding. The quality of this camera is much better than the quality of the camera on the Innova Hycross. So it turns out that Maruti and Toyota do better than Toyota does alone in terms of camera quality. Like very good quality camera. Honestly, I really like the quality of this camera. Now that is the heads-up display. Okay, the problem is you can't see it. Now you can. It's showing you the gear position. It's showing you the hybrid system battery. It's showing you the clock as well. And then you can browse through various information as well. So it tells you what's the fuel efficiency like. It's a cool system, but the real USP of this car has to be the engine, the hybrid engine, because it brings good amount of efficiency. Let's start driving right away. Here it's exactly showing which door is open, and as soon as I turn on the car, it says push start switch. Actually, when I close the door, now I'm turning on the car, it's on. This thing takes a lot of time, so we're just going to turn off the air conditioning. I'm going to get into B mode, which is like the brake mode, and straight away we are off. Hazard lights off. This system is still loading right now, and we are driving in EV mode. It is so smooth. And then audio system turns on its own. Shut up. So this is like very laggy and very slow. It's unbelievably slow. So that's something needs to be worked upon. And there, it's connected my phone to CarPlay because it's got CarPlay, it's got Android Auto and all that. Now straight away, I'm going to accelerate, and there the engine kicks in. So we are going to change this on the go itself, which is I'm going to put the way the hybrid motor is working. Yeah, things could be a little better. Around the corners, you will be surprised by this car, which is actually quite good. Yeah, I never expected it to be so good. There we can see how the hybrid system is working. Now we are actually in electric mode right now, in spite of having just 40% battery charge, because they are like 5 bars, each is 20%. So that's how it works, and it's unbelievably smooth and refined. So honestly, it's the urban environment where this car, therein the engine kicks in, wherein this car absolutely excels, because obviously a hybrid works better in the urban environment because speeds are obviously lower. Now this is not powered, it's underpinned by the Suzuki Global C platform, which also underpins the Brezza as well as the Grand Vitara, of course. Both the Urban Cruiser Hyryder and the Grand Vitara are identical cars, and the result is that it's a very robust platform. The engines feel just underpowered for the kind of chassis this car is having, and the steering has decent feel and feedback as well. It weighs up, but it's not very feelsome, but overall it's actually a very nice steering wheel for the kind of power and performance and the positioning of this car, which is comfort oriented, smooth, refined and easy going. It's not about dynamic performance here. So steering is actually nice, and the ride is also quite good. Look at this, okay, even over bad bumps it is able to manage so beautifully well, which is amazing. And you get into the throttle, it's working on electric power, which is amazing. For most of the times you can't hear a thing. That's the level of smoothness and refinement. Brakes are a bit grabby. That initial bite is just too aggressive somehow, which I don't like, and that's because of regenerative braking. So you also hear some sound, sort of sound when you apply brakes, and then it actually uses regen. It also assists in stopping the car, but it also puts in some energy back into the lithium ion battery. So I'm actually impressed by the Urban Cruiser Hyryder's urban performance, because it does perform quite well in the urban scenario, and that's where you can get the best efficiency as well, because firstly there's good amount of torque, there's good amount of low end grunt as well, and then obviously it's easy to drive. Steering is not very light as such, but it's light enough. It's not like super duper light, and then you will definitely appreciate that instant rush of performance, which makes it very easy to drive. And if you have juice in the battery, well, you can drive up to 120 kilometers per hour on pure EV mode. In fact, there's a EV mode button here which always says EV mode not available, unfortunately, because obviously the battery is very small. So it's running a 0.76 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is not even 1 kilowatt hour. I don't know why they do this chindigiri of giving such a small battery pack. Why? Because this battery needs the engine to be powering it like very frequently to push in some charge to it, and that's a bit of a problem. Still, it manages stellar fuel efficiency numbers. I will not talk about claim numbers, but I'll tell you that I'm getting between 18 to 20 kilometers per liter, having driven this car for almost a month now. So it's been lying with me since almost a month. It's returning that amazing fuel efficiency, which is quite surprising, which is unbelievable. And yeah, ride is good, handling is good, body roll is obviously there, suspension is on the softer side, yet it doesn't feel bouncy as such. So quite impressed by this, and obviously the Grand Vitara is the same, so it's also very impressive. Now the thing is that I changed my mindset when driving this car. I decided that I'm this middle-aged person who's not interested in cars, who's fine with driving a boring car as long as I'm able to save money in terms of running costs, or I get a diesel. And obviously you have to pay the premium for the hybrid, the strong hybrid that is, but then it all kind of makes sense if you are driving in the city, because the fuel efficiency will really please you. Now obviously you've not spoken about the engine, so I'll come to that right away. There are two engine options. The mild hybrid is the K15C from Suzuki, which is the least powerful car in the whole segment, around 102 horsepower, which is very shocking and lackluster as well. And then we will not talk about that, because I'll never recommend you buy any car with that engine. Trust me on that. That engine just doesn't feel exciting, and somehow with dual jet now, it's blunted the performance even further. So the K15B was better than the K15C. The K15C is more efficient but doesn't have the performance. This engine though is absolutely fantastic. This is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine, and this is obviously a Toyota engine using their 4th generation, something of that sort, hybrid technology. Now it's running a lithium ion battery. Toyota traditionally uses a nickel hydride battery, okay, but here they are actually using a lithium ion battery, because a lithium ion battery is actually lighter and gives instantaneous performance. So otherwise in the Camry, as well as I think the Wellfire and the Inno Highcross, it is a nickel metal hydride battery, which is heavier, and it doesn't have the same level of performance as a lithium ion one, but overall weight distribution is nice. Tires offer good amount of grip. This is obviously front wheel drive, running a 1-speed gearbox. This is an eCVT, 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine running the Atkinson cycle. Basically, Atkinson cycle is a very old technology. It's not even like new. Nobody uses it because it prioritizes efficiency over low-end performance, and then you have a car which doesn't have drivability. However, Atkinson cycle has become popular these days because when paired to an electric motor in hybrid guys, it definitely performs better, because the electric motor takes care of the low-end punch, and then obviously the overall efficiency works fantastically well here. This engine is producing 92 horsepower and 122 Newton meters of torque. The electric motor produces 80 horsepower and 141 Newton meters of torque. The combined output is not 92 plus 80, which turns out to be around 152 horsepower. No, it's not that. Firstly, it turns out to be not 152 horsepower but 172 horsepower. The combined output is 116 horsepower, which again is amongst the lower outputs in the segment, not that impressive. But because of the electric motor having that torque rush and all, performance is quite acceptable. We'll just see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. And yeah, it doesn't feel that bouncy. Only thing is insulation levels could be better. Engine is very, very, very silent. And then we have got 3 drive modes. There's eco mode, in which we are driving right now because we want to save the world, right? And then there's a normal mode, which actually is around 0.3 seconds faster from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So in this normal mode, it will go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 13.1 seconds. Otherwise, it takes 13.4 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in eco mode. However, in power mode, which is the third driving mode and the most important mode, it actually goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a rather quick 12 seconds. I say rather quick because the competitors 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine with the CVT box like the Creta and the Seltos also take a similar time, but obviously I cannot even talk about the turbos because the turbos produce much more power from the Koreans and is 2 seconds faster to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So this car in sport mode will go from 0 to 100 kilometers, rather power mode will go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a rather quick 12 seconds. I'm saying rather quick because the car doesn't feel fast at all. It feels very slow, lethargic, easygoing, and the unfortunate part is that it just doesn't feel soulful to drive. It feels like a toy, honestly. It just feels too smooth without feel. But then the rivals like the Creta and the Seltos are also very similar. The smoothness here actually works in its favor because it's a very relaxed driving experience, and in case you are able to get more charge on the battery, you can drive off in pure EV mode and continue to drive in pure EV mode for quite a bit in the urban environment, of course. Out on the highway, the performance is kind of lackluster because it just doesn't give you the kind of performance you're looking out for, and brakes are, I was telling you, initial bite is just too strong. It's kind of unfortunate how strong it is because you have to get used to it. Now here we've stopped. First things first, traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. I get into drive mode from B mode. I was in braking mode because we are going through the guards, revving the motor, and off we go. There is this one continuous long surge of performance, very linear. There's no step up in power, and then because this is an eCVT, it's usually the engine which is trying to catch up with the gearbox, and that's how it works. So it's not very like a soothing experience. It's not like a typical engine. It's just like, you know, the revs climb to one point, they just stay there. Thing is, what they have done is they have actually tuned the electric motor more towards power than torque here, so that there's some amount of performance higher end of the rev range. And obviously in the top end also it pulls nice and strongly. It's very linear, and I think it will pull close to 150 without any hesitation, and beyond that obviously power drops sharply. So it starts dropping sharply around 120 kilometers per hour, and the top speed is approximately 170 kilometers per hour, which is decent enough. Now every time you get into the throttle, there's not that instant performance, there's not an instant pull as such, which is a bit disappointing, to be very honest. Now let's actually open the heads up display as well, which I had kept shut because honestly you can't see much in the day from the heads up display. It's saying starting right now, so you know all these systems are very slow, so they put the weakest possible processor for this as well as that, and that's a bit of a bummer. Now the thing is, all the power is obviously channeled to the front wheels, and this hybrid system, or rather the way the eCVT works is that it can give you complete electric motor power, so only the electric motor is powering the front wheels, or the engine is powering the front wheels with the petrol engine, of course, or both of them are also doing it in hybrid, guys. So this is a self-charging hybrid, it's not a plug-in. Plug-in hybrid would be the next best solution after the self-charging hybrids, because then obviously you have got external performance, not relying much on the engine, and then that will be more efficient as well. It has got a 45 liter fuel tank capacity, and the horn is kind of meek, it's not that great. Weight of this car is almost 1300 kgs, so somewhere between I think 1265 to 1295 kgs depending on the variant you opt for. And then directional changes are decent, like the car does stay sure-footed. It just feels too light, it doesn't feel glued to the road like completely. It doesn't have that heft to the steering wheel, so it does feel quite light. Typical Japanese way of engineering a car, about lightweight, about like ultra refinement. So in terms of character, there is none. But then if you're looking for character, you would definitely not buy a Maruti or a Toyota car. There are other cars, and I'm saying that you wouldn't buy a Toyota car now, although that's kind of wrong because the Innova has character, the Fortuner has character, but the Innova Hycross doesn't have character. And the Fortuner, if it goes the Innova Cross Highway, rather Innova Hycross way, it also is going to lose character. That's something I'm not looking forward to at all. Now out on the highway, the problem is now the performance is not instant, and then you realize that this car lacks grunt out on the highway. You get hard on the throttle, it takes some time to respond, then it pulls. There is not enough power available on tap to make quick overtakes, so that's a little disappointing part here. I would have really appreciated if there was more grunt out on the highway to pull like stronger and faster overtakes, but no, this doesn't happen. This is stays true to its name, that it is an urban cruiser and it is not a land cruiser. But this whole urban cruiser thing, I don't even understand why they do it. Now there are around 11 variants of this car on offer, out of which 5 variants are for the six variants are for the mild hybrid with the K15C engine, and there are 5 variants for the strong hybrid. Now there are actually 5 variants for the manual transmission, and there's one variant which is the all-wheel drive with the K15C engine as well, which is obviously manual. So technically there is only one automatic available with the K15 engine. Yeah, so that's that. Come on, give me some performance. No, it's just so easy going. This is a car best driven in the city. That's where it excels. Oh, I have charged the battery. So let me do one thing. Let me actually get it into eco mode, and then I'm going to turn on. No, EV mode is still not available. I don't know where the EV mode has gone for a vacation. It's quite disappointing. So now we're going to come to a halt here, and hazard lights on. The brakes, it's a bit too grabby. My phone fell down. It is that time we get into EV mode. Oh my god, EV mode is available, and off we are. Hazard lights off. I can't believe it, it's in EV mode. So I actually drove it in power mode to charge the battery, which is 80% right now. Now the thing is that the Grand Vitara, their battery is depleting quite fast, so the Grand Vitara EV mode cancelled. That's about it, how much you can run in EV mode, honestly, which is nothing. It's very, very disappointing. You can hear the whine, right? So let's get into power mode. Let me change the heads-up display mode as well. And there is no sports for the gearbox, obviously. It's 1 speed. So revving the motor, and off we go. Oh wait, I forgot to put it into power mode. Yeah, now it's in power mode. Revving the motor. There you see the acceleration, brisk enough. The thing is that the Grand Vitara starts at 12.28 lakhs. This one starts at 12.45 lakhs, and it goes all the way to 22 lakhs. Yeah, 22.45 lakhs. So yes, it is on the expensive side for the top variants, because they're actually charging a premium of 2.21 lakhs for the strong hybrid over the mild hybrid, and the all-wheel drive has an additional outlay of 1.5 lakhs vis-a-vis the same engine, same transmission model, which is front wheel drive. So yeah, 1.5 lakhs, completely worth it. Pay that additional, get all wheel drive, but do not get that engine only, so then that puts all wheel drive out of the picture completely. However, get the strong hybrid, okay? And the cheapest strong hybrid version is basically the Hyryder S variant, which is priced at rupees 18 lakhs, slightly under rupees 18 lakhs, 17 lakhs 91,000. This one is 22.45 lakhs, and this is actually 47,000 rupees lesser than the Grand Vitara. So you get a Toyota badge, you get better warranty, because Maruti offers 2 years 40,000 kilometers standard warranty. Toyota offers you a 3 years 1 lakh kilometer standard warranty, which can be extended to 5 years 2.2 lakh kilometers. So doesn't it make more sense to get the Hyryder over the Grand Vitara? I definitely feel so. But then I also realized that when you get this car, you don't feel like you got a Toyota, you feel like you get a Maruti only with a Toyota badge. So it kind of feels like fake. Yeah, it feels like you put a sticker here, because it doesn't have any Toyota character to it other than the strong hybrid engine. All the interior bits are exactly the same which you get in a Maruti car. Yes, this engine is amazing. In spite of being a 3-cylinder motor, it doesn't have any vibration, doesn't have any thrum. It's just so smooth, it's just so refined, so punchy. It's quite nice. I love the way this engine has been calibrated with the hybrid motor, because it is a very, very, very efficient as well. The only thing is, because this is Maruti at the end of the day, there is some rattling sound which is coming from the rear left. Yes, that sound is coming in spite of this car being brand new. So we picked up this car from Toyota's plant, I think, in Bangalore. So they actually shipped it to the dealer. We got it from the dealer. It had done almost like 300-400 kilometers, and we have run it in. We have driven it completely from start to from scratch till now, and it had this vibration and rattle since day one from the rear left, which is kind of weird. It's like just chee, very irritating. How can a new car have this kind of rattles? I just don't understand. But that is Toyota Maruti when they come together, the Maruti way of life, and that's very unfortunate, because you're paying a lot of money. You're paying a premium over the Creta and the Seltos to get this car which has vibrations, which is not accepted. I don't accept it only. So that's the thing. Should you pay that 47,000 extra for the Grand Vitara? Now I feel you should, because at least with Maruti you have your expectations straight, that if it vibrates, if it has rattles and all, you will accept it. Okay, fine, it's par the course. But here, no, I just cannot accept it only. And a little tire noise, and the phone falls down again. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. And you used to think that the diesel premium is too much. Here the premium for the strong hybrid is quite a lot. 2.21 lakhs is a lot. I'm talking about on-road pricing, of course. Somehow this car's chassis and all is much more capable than the engine. And on that discovery, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. Yeah, can they put a better horn, please? Bye bye.